Hello and welcome back to Where Feng Shui Meets Fashion, podcast episode 14, a place for home and wardrobe inspiration. My name is Laura, and I am a Feng Shui practitioner, curator, and stylist for you and your space. New episodes drop every Sunday. Subscribe for weekly tips on mindful dressing and decorating. This hybrid podcast and newsletter originates on Substack, where you can follow me for all of the visuals, text, and now video. My stories about feng shui and fashion are told in part through pictures and visuals in the body of my newsletters here on Substack. So if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, you can subscribe for free on Substack. For all my other content and services, check out my link tree. Seeing life through a new lens. Eclipse story. This is an eclipse story, folks. What I have learned from this eclipse season is that the obstacle truly is the path. Eclipses are astrological phenomenons that bring powerful shifts in often very dramatic ways. They can feel like non-negotiable change because they are. Eclipses come in pairs, typically about 2 weeks apart, and can be felt just prior, during, and for weeks, even months after the eclipse. So that's why they call it eclipse season. This season is marked by an eclipse that we had on September 17th and a second one on October 2nd coming up next week, 2024. So eclipses can be intense. How's it going for you? I know that my friends have been going through some massive shifts, and we can certainly see change is afoot on the world stage. For me personally, there's been a series of highs and lows. I wrote this story on September 27th between the eclipses, and I am still reeling and processing from all that's transpired so far. This September-October eclipse season began with my decision to get new glasses at the beginning of the month. I felt like my vision wasn't as sharp as I would like, or it used to be. So I decided to go to Warby Parker and get new glasses. I was also feeling very self-conscious about the way I look in glasses. And I wanted a new signature look for myself that I felt truly suited me. A new look that ties in with this whole new chapter of fashion feng shui. So I brought my sunglasses with me, these, as a style reference because they have that dramatic cat eye style that I wanted. So my salesperson, Sylvia, at the Silver Lake location, found the perfect match with these Warby Sonia frames. Those spelled differently. Sonia is the namesake of a beautiful friend of mine, and I got them here in jet black, but also in this oak barrel, which looks a lot like my sunglasses. So the black ones, these are intended for work because they have a blue light filtering, and the oak barrel frames are light sensitive, so they're meant for the outdoors, and they turn into sunnies in the light. They're both pictured in the newsletter, so you can check that out. Listen, if our eyes are truly the windows to the soul, then I think it's really super important to take great care on how we frame that view. I've been wearing reading glasses for about 9 years, and I've never quite found a style that felt like me. I'm usually a little embarrassed and sheepish to wear my glasses in public. So I started noticing people who had super chic glasses, and that's when I knew it was time for me to figure out my personal style vision. For context, I need glasses for reading and writing, which I do all day long. They're kind of like bifocals because they transition from reading glasses to regular vision. And these precision progressives can be a little discombobulating if they're not fitted properly. And when I received these on Thursday, September 12th, I immediately loved them as far as the way they looked and fit and all of that. However, I was having a hard time focusing and reading, and my eyes began to hurt. That first day, I felt dizzy and nauseous. So I called Warby Parker, and they suggested that I may need a brief period of adjustment, and apparently this is very common. So if I felt no improvement in a week or so, they would happily replace or refund them. Okay. So that evening, I decided to give my eyes a break and from all the reading and writing and watch some TV instead. Um, as soon as I turned on my television, the screen went dead. And the sound was there, but it was a black screen. And I was just perplexed. I'm like, okay, I can't read, can't watch TV. Now what am I going to do? So the next day, I had a very important Zoom with my mentor, Ellen, for my fashion feng shui certification. And it was a big deal. I woke up and my eyes were still struggling to focus properly with the glasses. So I went to turn on my computer, and that too would not turn on. It wouldn't turn on, it wouldn't take a charge, and it was dead. So I ended up having to get on the Zoom with my phone to talk to Ellen as I was struggling to focus. She joyfully told me that I had completed my licensing requirements for my fashion feng shui, and I should be receiving my official license within days. On the one hand, I was thrilled, but on the other, I was totally freaking out. I explained to Ellen what was going on with my tech, with my vision, everything. And Ellen was so lovely and calm and assured me I could get everything sorted out and repaired. So after the Zoom, instead of celebrating this great milestone of completing my FFS international, requirements, I had to run over to Best Buy to look for a new TV and a new computer. I was feeling super emotional and thought, I can't see properly. Both my TV and my computer have gone dark. What the fuck? So for me, I felt like this is not the time for this. I have work to do. I have plans to implement. I had all these next steps on my agenda, including what would have been last week's podcast. And obviously this week's podcast is a little late too. However, I was at a standstill without a computer, and I got myself over to Best Buy ASAP. And I have to say, I loved my old TV. It was my first smart TV, and it had a spectacular picture quality. It was also relatively new. I purchased it during the pandemic when TV was super important. And I had the help of a boyfriend who was super techie. He helped me find the best resolution and quality for the money. It was also on sale because it had a small flaw, a broken, wonky leg or base, but it still worked great. And as long as you didn't move it around, the base stayed intact. So my ex was the one who programmed the smart TV, which was great because I can be super intimidated by new technology. After he and I had stopped dating and we were just friends, he became rather abusive and took to incessantly rage texting me when he was drinking. He also would stalk me on social media and mock all of my feng shui posts. He never did this while we were actually dating, so it was really jarring to have him belittle me for being myself. For these reasons, we no longer speak. But when I was heading back to Best Buy to replace the TV on my own, all of these memories came back. And I remembered buying the original TV with my ex during a time when he had been kind and hopeful. I also remembered all the insults and the erratic behavior that came later. So, left to my own devices, I essentially bought the same exact TV, but a newer, enhanced model with all the latest technology. And this one was in perfect condition and didn't have the wonky leg. I proudly installed and programmed this TV by myself, and I also threw out my back carrying it up the stairs to my apartment. But I did it myself. Later that evening, while taking a salt bath to relieve the pain and the muscle spasms I was experiencing, that's when I realized it was Friday the 13th. I couldn't help but laugh. Is it cursed or lucky? It's all perspective because it was ultimately a blessing in disguise. All of it. When I was in high school and played soccer, I chose the number 13 as my soccer number, my t-shirt number. And I did this because I thought it was badass. And yes, I'm super superstitious. However, I still think you can shift any circumstance to your benefit by your response to it. As for my computer, the tech geeks at Best Buy got it to take a charge and explained that most likely both my TV and my computer had been damaged by a power surge, which was a very common occurrence during the recent LA heat wave. I was just happy to hear that I would be able to recover and access my files and content. However, I still needed a new computer. The laptop could no longer keep a charge, and it also had a cracked screen. So it's pretty much donezo. I called my mom, who is super duper techie, and lo and behold, she offered to buy and program my new computer. It arrived just in time for my dad's birthday on September 21st, and I had all these reasons now to come home and celebrate with my family. My mom painstakingly transferred all of my files, music, and content to the new computer and installed all of the programs. It took her several days. When I finally brought it home and connected it myself to my Wi-Fi and my printer, I was thrilled. The only thing that would not work was my Yeti mic. No matter what I did, Substack would reject it. So I ordered a podcast-specific microphone that my mentor, Ellen, had recommended and uses for her podcast called Feng Shui Decoded. Both of my mentors actually host this show, Ellen and Tara, along with two other Feng Shui experts. So if you're into Feng Shui, you should check out their podcast. And you can find it on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. So back to eclipses. The first one, as mentioned, was on September 17th. And the next one is this coming Wednesday on October 2nd of 2024. Cannot wait. My eclipse season has been highlighted with the death and rebirth of all of my systems. But I can see clearly now, after a brief period of adjustment, and the future looks bright. It's a whole new world. I'm a newly licensed fashion feng shui facilitator with a new TV, a new computer, a new microphone, and a whole new point of view. Also, as of today, I have a new YouTube channel called, guess what? Where Feng Shui Meets Fashion. All right, folks, I hope this eclipse season brings you many blessings, even if they come in disguise. Cheers, everyone, and ciao for now.